And welcome back, everyone. As you can read from the title, there's something very interesting I want to share with you today. And so let's jump right into it. So as you might know, the Tata Steel Wijk Aan Zee chess tournament will start on the 18th of January in the Netherlands. And it's a very prestigious tournament. It's the 87th edition. So just imagine a super tournament that has been happening already for such a long time. And I'll be there as a second for one of the participants in the Masters group. If you're not familiar with that word second, I think it's mostly used in the chess world. I don't know if it's used in any other sports as well. But a second is basically a coach for one of the participants who is helping out with openings mostly when it comes to preparation. So before we jump into that, I just wanted to say a big shout out to two supporters who sent me a very generous donation, and that's to David and to Rijk. So just want to send it out there. And also I wanted to ask you guys if you have any experience or recommendations for setting up a site like Patreon, because I want to, I've wanted to start something like that for quite some time. To be able to share some more behind the scenes stuff with you. And so if you have some insights there, I know that there are some websites like Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee, things like that. So if you have some recommendations, would be really, really helpful, where I can share even more stuff on these websites. Let's get back to the video. So I'll be in Wijk Aan Zee, 87th edition, and as some of you might have been wondering already, who is this mysterious player I'm helping? And it's the Indian Grandmaster Harikrishna Pentala, who has been a top 10 player and is still along the ranks of 2700. So one of the strongest players of all time, you could basically say. And I'll be his second at that event, since usually these events, there's quite a lot of prize money involved, at least when it comes to chess. And those events are very prestigious, and I think at least everyone in the Masters section will have someone helping them out. I actually started working with Hari already 2 years ago. It was in 2022 when we first started working. But last year we didn't do so much, since he was very busy with being a second himself for Gukesh during the World Championship match. Hari was part of the team. Vincent Keimer was also part of the team, who is, by the way, also participating in the Tata Steel Masters, and the two, or I think three Polish Grandmasters, Gajewski and Wojtaszek, and also Jan Krzysztof Duda, were part of Gukesh's team as well. But I'll be there as a second for Harikrishna, and I'm really looking forward to it, especially since it's in Wijk Aan Zee, and it was always kind of I just always wanted to be there at the tournament, since it's probably the most prestigious event in chess in general. People call it like the Wimbledon of chess for a reason. So I'm just really looking forward to be there. And the other thing I want to speak about was, we had a training camp now. I'm in Prague, where Harikrishna is living, and we had now for the past week quite an intense training camp where we prepared for the event. And I just wanted to walk you through how that typically goes with top players, since it's, I think, often not really discussed. Like if you're not that familiar with how top players work, I mean, there's not that much information out there about that, as far as I know. So in general, you could say that mostly top players nowadays generally focus on openings. I would say people in general would focus mostly on openings, since it's become just such a vital part of chess, because if you're not prepared well enough and your opponent has the help of the engine in the opening stage, then it can often happen that you will just end up in a very bad position, or even with a losing position after the opening. So it's very important to come up with new ideas from the white side, to be able to make some pressure, and to be able to resist that pressure from the black side. So that's kind of what we've been doing for the last week. Of course, there are also other aspects which need to be considered of the game of chess. Like we've been solving some studies, for example, solving some positions as well, just to get the mind going for the event. But I think every participant in that event could say that probably like 80% of the preparation of the tournament preparation goes into opening preparation. So yeah, those are kind of the things about the event. I'm really looking forward to it. It's not my first time being the second of Hare Krishna, as I said. I've been with him to many events. The most memorable for me was when I was with him in the Prague Masters tournament 2022, when he actually won that tournament with a score of, I think, +4 in the end. I think he made like 6.5 out of 9 against a field of like average 2680 or something, maybe even more than that. So that was very memorable. And in general, we always had a very good time. So as many seconds from the past also said, it's simply not possible to work with someone who you don't get along with. And I guess it applies to all fields of work as well. It's simply not enjoyable then, and you will not be able to perform to your fullest as a second. So that's not a problem with us. We get along very well, and therefore I'm looking forward to these quite long 2 or even 2.5 weeks. This tournament is specifically long. There are 13 rounds, which is quite untypical for these events. Usually it's like 9 or maximum 11 rounds. But this one is 13 rounds and there are 3 rest days. So that's why the event takes quite long. But I think it also has somewhat of a nice flair to it because the players can rest in between the tournament, like during the tournament. And there are always some nice programs, I think, in that event as well. Like I think in the previous editions they moved the playing hall. Like at some point they were playing in that playing hall, and then on another day they were playing in another city. So many interesting things there, and in general it's a huge chess festival there. There's the Masters group, there's also the Challengers group and the C group, D group, and it goes on. I also wanted to talk about the participants, so let me just pull up who is playing just to inform you. So the first seed is Fabiano Caruana from the United States, which probably rings a bell to everyone watching the video. Second seed is Arjun Erigaisi. Of course, in the meanwhile, also established top player. I think he's now number 4 in the world, at least with the current rating, which it shows me here of 27.99. So will be interesting to see if he will make it again back to 2800 in this event. We also have Gukesh, the current world champion. That's also going to be very interesting. As you can already see, Magnus Carlsen is not participating, which came to as a surprise to many people, also somewhat including myself, since Wijk Aan Zee was always a tournament where he participated. I think it's one of the tournaments which he played most in and also won the most first places. I think he won like 5, 6, 7, 8 times this event. Please correct me if I'm wrong. There's also Nodirbek Abdusatorov on the 4th seed, then Wei Yi, who, have to mention, won the event last year. There was quite an intense tiebreak. He won the final tiebreak against Gukesh, if I remember correctly. But there were actually 4 players, I think, tied for first place, so they had to have this tiebreak, which could very well happen again in this year's event as well, that we will see a tiebreak. Then Vidit Gujarati was supposed to play, but he got he couldn't play after all because he got married, and I'm assuming that he's now going to the honeymoon with his wife. So Hari was the replacement for Vidit, which was quite nice, because now I get to be there and Hari gets to play, so that's really cool. And Vincent Keimer is also there, Anish Giri, of course. He's been playing like every year, the local hero, Vladimir Fedoseev, Jordan van Forest, the second local hero, Max Warmerdam, the third local hero, and then we have Leon Luc Mendonca, who qualified by by winning the last year's B group. So yeah, very interesting, and specifically a very young, a very young field. Hare Krishna is actually the oldest player in the field. I was talking about this with him in a couple of days ago, and yeah, I think the second oldest, at least I think Harry mentioned it, is probably already Anish Giri, which is just unbelievable to me, because I remember a couple of years ago when I started following these events closely. Anish was always like one of the youngest players himself, and now time has just passed so quickly. And yeah, now Fabiano and Anish are already among the older participants in the event. So yeah, that's the field. The B tournament is also very strong as usual. First seed there is Nguyen Taidevan from the Czech Republic, and many other strong players as well, many 2600s, and also many especially strong and promising players. Like there is the prodigy Faustino Oro, and others as well. I think the current junior world champion is also participating, and four females, four women are also participating, which yeah, I think they're kind of making a statement, which I think is nice, that also women should be invited to those events. And it's always interesting to yeah, to see them battle it out with the men. So that's really cool. It was always my favorite tournament to watch, at least one of my favorite ones, because the level of chess is simply very high there. All of the players take that event very seriously, and therefore it's always really cool to watch. So yeah, I'm still in Prague, and tomorrow we are traveling to Wijk Aan Zee. So first we're flying to Amsterdam, and then we're going to Wijk Aan Zee, which is on the coast. And from what I've heard, it's quite windy there, quite cold. It's raining all the time. That's also what Magnus has said the previous times when he was playing there. He was not very happy with the weather. By the way, my theory for Magnus not participating is that, I mean, he has said numerous times that he's not really interested in playing classical anymore, at least those long tournaments. So I guess that's kind of the explanation on why he doesn't participate in this year. It could easily be that he'll never play again in the Tata Steel Masters, which yeah, makes me a little bit sad, because he was always there and it was always great to watch him, but yeah, we cannot do anything about it. So yeah, guys, I'm going there tomorrow, and I want to also ask you, what would you like to see when I'm there? Of course, I'll be working very hard as a second. Often people, I think, underestimate the work seconds put into those into these preparations. Like if you, I read this fantastic book about the World Championship preparations of Anand by Michel Albern. Hope I pronounced that correctly, from Belgium. It came out a couple of years ago. It's called the Anand Files. It's probably my favorite chess book out there, and the author goes deeply into the whole atmosphere of the preparation and how long the people were working. And usually what happens, at least in World Championship matches, is that the seconds are just working until the middle of the night, like until 5 or 6 in the morning, so that the players have the file ready in the morning and that they can then prepare. But the rest doesn't start there, because usually the seconds then at some point also have to explain the lines to the player. So they cannot just sleep now until the game has finished. But yeah, the work continues, and that was also often my experience with that. The work is going to be hard, but it's also very enjoyable for me. I love finding those new ideas in the opening, and especially if they can be applied successfully. That's like a great feeling I have, because it's somewhat of an artistry itself, I would say. I don't know if that's a word, but yeah, I really like it. And so yeah, that's about that. And what I wanted to ask was, I'll be there in Wijk Aan Zee, and I have never really seen anything about Wijk Aan Zee. Like you hear people talk about this tournament, but especially I never saw anything. Like, what does it look like there? What does the playing venue look like? So I was thinking about like walking you through a bit of how the like make some kind of behind the scenes content there, how things are looking there, how things are organized. So I think that would be very interesting to see. But please shoot some suggestions down in the comments. I'm very interested to hear them. And of course, I will not have that much time probably there to like record daily videos, but I'll definitely be able to make some content there, since there are also a couple of rest days. So please let me know in the comments. I'm really looking forward to what you guys are suggesting. And yeah, I think that was all I wanted to say. So yeah, let me know, guys, what you want to see, and I'll see you in the following videos. So thank you for watching. If you did like the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and otherwise I will see you soon. Take care.